AI does not eliminate work. AI redistributes work,
Yeah.
right? If I needed a ticket for the railroad yesterday, I'm going to need a ticket today, right?
It's not a magic button. There's a lot of people that still have the expectation when they hear AI, they feel like, they see kind of a version of Harry Potter with magic wand.
You need to onboard AI just like you would a human. You would never go out there and be like, oh, you get a job, you get a job, you get a job, and then just expect the person to come in and know about your business.
The one thing that the AI doesn't have is a crystal ball. The AI can only be as smart as the person building it and behind it, and only as smart as the people then keep on supporting it and maintaining it afterwards. So
Hey, guys, and welcome to another episode of Tipsy Thursdays. I am your show host, Juanita Coley, the contact center whisperer, also affectionately known as the founder of Solid Rock Consulting. I am here with the amazing, the epic Valentina. Valentina, thank you so much for being a guest on our season 6. So this is year 6 for us on Tipsy Thursdays, and you're a guest on this season. So thank you so much. You could be anywhere, but you decided to be here with us all the way in Europe. So I'm really like doing a hair flip right now. Thank you again so much.
very welcome, Janita, and thank you for inviting me actually, because it's always great for me to discuss with people like you about CX and workforce management and everything that's happening right now. You're living in really exciting time for that, I think.
It really is an exciting time. And, it's been a little bit a while since we connected, last year before last at CCW Europe. And I see you've been just doing some amazing, epic things. You're always talking about customer experience. You're always talking about, what's happening in the space right now. So I thought it would be amazing to have you on season 6. So this season, we're talking about all things AI and how AI is changing work in the workplace. And so I'm really interested. Before we hop into the questions, though, I'm really interested in learning a little bit more about. I've told them your name is Valentina, but tell them your full name, your role, where you're at, and what your day to day looks like.
So I'm Valentina Cesani. I'm the Chief Operating Officer for Rail Europe. Like the name implies, we sell rail tickets to come to Europe, to anybody who wants to come to Europe. Our niche market is for non-domestic rail travelers, which non-domestic we mean not just, non-European. We mean even a European that is traveling outside of his comfort zone. North American coming to Europe, Australian, Brazilian, Japanese, Indian coming to Europe, but also Spanish person traveling to Germany for the first time, or somebody from the UK wanting to spend a rail, journey or spend a rail experience in Italy and so on. Because rail is amazing, very green and everything, but it's not always simple. In Europe, we have more than 200 rail operators. They don't talk to each other much. So each one of them has their own rules, their own terms and conditions. Each one of them calls their service classes and feature differently. So for somebody that's not familiar with it, it's a bit difficult to navigate. And that's where we come into play. Our mission is making train travel easy. Because we really believe in that. I mean, we have about 200 people around the world working with us on different levels, different departments. I manage directly the customer operation teams, which means, customer supports, fulfillment for niche tickets, knowledge, even the chatbot, of course, AI support, and so on. So all the integration come through me and my team as well. And it's never been a better time than now to try to travel by train in Europe as well. We got the big green movement going on as well. People finally realizing how fantastic it is to travel by train and experience the country by train. And we are there to make it a bit simpler. And talking about that, it's even fantastic time for AI because that's making it so much simpler as well to bring the information that are needed at the right time to the people.
Yeah, I was just in Europe, right? And I love, personally, when I'm in Europe, I love getting on the train, right? It's an experience, and I love getting to see the country via train. So, on that same thought, though, that you're talking about, like, it's a massive amount of work, I am sure, right? Because you're in the people business. You are serving mass amounts of people, and there's so much. Like you said, there are over 200 operators, and so everyone has their own rules, regulations, how they do things, what their ticketing system looks like, and all those different things. So the very first question I'm going to ask you is, what's one thing in CX? You have tons of experience, chief operating officer, tons of experience, but what's that one thing that still makes you tipsy, right? Like, about customer experience that is like still a challenge for you. What's that one thing?
Is driving the change and staying on top of the waves, so to speak, not
Mm,
being, carried over, not going under, but really try to lead the transformation as it needs. Because the potential right now, it's humongous. We see it on everyday life. I mean, AI was just like a dream or a nightmare, depending on who you ask to, up to a couple of years ago. Right now is in everyday life. A lot of
mm,
people swap from regular search web browser directly to us to their AI, and they have their expectations about what service and what AI can deliver. But that kind of service doesn't decline equally to all the different businesses. So on one hand is managing the expectation of what the customer wants with the reality of what you can provide and deliver, but also the necessities of the business itself, which in certain times still remains purely human, require an expertise, requires hands-on approach sometimes to fix issues, to intervene, to take decision, to understand empathically what the customer is going through. And I'm sure that the AI is gonna get even better on those aspects, but there are things that I still believe are gonna stay profoundly human. So deliver that equilibrium, that balance between what the customer expects, what you can do, what you need to prioritize, and what you want to keep human, it's a bit tricky. And also, in a way, for my fellow C-level, for the rest of the team on my executive level, is also to manage expectation and change
mm,
the mentality around
mm.
what the expectation out of humans should be. Because for years we talked for human about, average handling time, average response time. AI is kind of zeroing in on those. So average response time through AI now it's 0, it's instant. But the handling time, if it's very, very short time and immediate response for basic routine question, when it comes down to human, the average handling time doesn't necessarily reflect the reality anymore, because what comes down to human now is very complex. So also changing that mentality, it's part of the game right now, and it's not always the easiest, part of the equation.
I absolutely love that. So, what I take from that is, staying relevant in the current time. And I think that that's so important because as we continue to evolve, right, like what we have from a capabilities perspective, we have to constantly be feeding that back into our service, right? Like, oh, we now have this capability, and this is now the expectation from a customer perspective because these other operators are doing it. So now we have to figure out how do we pull this into our service and how we operate while still managing expectations, still managing budgets, still managing our human workforce, all these different things. It is like you said, a balance of trying to balance all these different things. So I absolutely love that. What is one transformation, Valentina, that you are leading right now? This like, hey, this is the thing.
We are now kind of at level 3 of our AI integration. So we started really early with Gen AI based chatbots that we tested out for a couple of years on our B2C. We are like one day away from launching the next generation on our B2B platform that also takes into consideration the full booking aspect of it as well. And at the same time, already working on the next generation of supports, because as AI evolves, so the support needs to evolve.
Yes.
But it's not a magic button. There's a lot of people that still have the expectation when they hear AI, they feel like they see kind of a version of Harry Potter with magic wand, but it's like a AI wand now, and it's more almost like they expect you just think of it and the AI is gonna do it. It's not
Hmm.
like that.
No.
You need to build it.
Yes.
You need to build it, you need to test it, you need to very clear in mind what you want the AI to do, because the one thing that the AI doesn't have is a crystal ball. The AI can only be as smart as the person building it and behind it, and only as smart as the people then keep on supporting it and maintaining it afterwards. So, you launch it might be the most perfect AI solution ever, but then you need to keep monitoring that it works and it does its job, that there are no variation, that the needs are still the same, that needs to be fulfilled. And that's something that we're still working on. So from simple Gen AI to more integrated directly conversational AI, to the next step for us that we're working on is more on a really agentic AI evolution, integration with our platform as well, and a really true companion for all our customers, whether B2C or B2B. Very excited about that, to be honest.
I love the thing that I love most about what you said, right? Because I preach this, I'm saying this all the time. When you're thinking about AI, you need to onboard AI just like you would a human. You would never go out there and be like, oh, you get a job, you get a job, you get a job, and then just expect the person to come in and know about your business, know what tools you're using, have the knowledge. When you are getting ready to hire a person, the first thing you do is you open up what? A job rec. Like, hey, this is the role I need this person to fill. And then you start to recruit and you look for the right candidate, you interview, you do all the different things, right? And then when you find that candidate, what do? You onboard them. You say, hey, let me go ahead and onboard you into our organization. So you then do what? You put them into training and all those different things. You set metrics for them, how they're going to be, you communicate how they're going to be measured and what their performance is going to be based on and all those different things. And then you don't stop there. What do? You continue to develop them and say, hey, where you're weak, this is where you're strong. This is where we have some opportunities for career growth, career pathing. We should be thinking about AI the same exact way. What exactly are you looking for the AI to do? What job rec are you looking for AI to fill? And then when you understand that, then you're starting to interview, right? You're starting to say, okay, these are all the use cases, right, that we're going to use this AI for. We're going to start to interview
Yep.
just like we would a person, right? Like, how would you handle this? How would you handle this? You know, those interview questions when you're interviewing
Yep,
somebody on your team, right?
absolutely.
That's the same thing we should be doing with AI. Hey, how would you handle this situation? How would you handle this situation? Hey, do you have, that's the interviewing process. And then now when we say, okay, this is the AI we're going to go with, now we need to be saying, oh, okay, great. How do I onboard you? This is the knowledge management you're going to be pulling from. These are the workflows we're going to create. This is all the different things you're going to be responsible for doing. This is the training process. And then, okay, how are we going to measure success of your role? Measure your productivity and your effectiveness of the AI. Same thing you would be doing for a person. So again, I think one of the critical mistakes when we think about onboarding AI, when we think about, oh, I'm trying to bring AI into my business and I want to be transformational, is we think about it like it's a tool when we should be thinking about it like labor. Just like we think about people and we think about, oh, this person is coming into our organization to impact this change, we should be thinking about AI as labor as well. Is AI is coming into our business to impact this change, how do we make sure that we set it up for success? Because I think one of the key things that you said, right, is that AI just is only as good as the person who's set it up and trained it and know what the goal is for it to do. Otherwise, again, it's not just magic. You don't just turn it on. Like, you don't just hire a person, go on the street and hire somebody and say, oh yeah, I'm expecting to drive revenue in my business. They're gonna be like, what is your business? What do you do? And so I absolutely love that's chef's kiss. I love how you framed that around the transformation. You said you're in level 3 of transformation when it comes to AI right now, which indicates to me, right, what this has said to me is you're taking this in levels, right? So we kind of did level 1, level 2, now we're at level 3 of our AI transformation or journey, right? So I'm really excited to kind of I gotta have it back, right? Because I can't wait to see, like, once you get to another level, like, what has that transformation, what results have you gotten from that? Are you constantly missing service level and you don't know why? Or maybe you're overstaffed and you're bleeding budget and you're not even sure what the right staffing model even is for your organization. Here's what I see constantly: CX leaders with no WFM leader, Or maybe they have one person trying to cover the whole function that's maybe on the operations team. Or maybe your WFM team actually sits inside of your BPO. Listen, that's not your fault. That's a structural gap. But what it means is that you're making strategic plays without anyone reading your data and turning it into insights that aligns with your CX strategy. We're doing something about it. 100 free data analysis and strategic workforce assessments where we will look at your phone data, your forecast, your schedules, and your intraday performance. And in 72 hours, we hand you back real answers, not a sales pitch deck, but real answers. I did this for a client named Sabina. She had 3 contact centers that were operating at a 59% service level. And within 60 days later, 60 days, because of the insights, she was able to turn into a strategy. She moved to an 82% service level without making any hires. But what mattered most is she got her evenings back. She trusted her data. She was able to lead her operations team, have a strategic strategy that worked for the organization. This is completely free. So if you are a CX leader and you don't have a WFM team, you have your phone data, and you don't have a WFM support, like I said earlier, we have 100 free slots there, first come, first serve through September 15. You already have the answers in your data. Let us turn it into insights. Apply below and let us help you. See you soon. Bye. On that same thought, my next question for you, Valentina, is around from your perspective, how is AI? So you're on level 3 right now, transformation. How has AI been redesigning work and the workplace in your organization?
Well, it is redesigning it, as in completely changing it as well.
Mm.
We hire differently to start with because with AI handling the routine, what's left is a bit more complex, a bit more empathic, a little bit more thought-provoking, and we need more problem solver. We need more empathic thinker to the workplace. So the way we also hire is a bit different. So something like, emotional intelligence is higher up on the qualities that we're looking for in a new employee versus how quick you are in data entry or actually typing a response or an email. But also we look for that intuition and that creative thinking to stay around because it's easy with AI to be carried over. Just we have so much prompt, so much help from the AI that it's easy to just lean in and then, not question whatever it's prompt to you, not challenge it. But what we need when it really supports is, yes, accept whatever helps come in from the AI because the knowledge base is relevant and correct at the time that we actually publish it. But we still need to apply, proper thinking to what is being then communicated back to the customer to make sure that the information is still relevant and then escalate when it's not. So it's also more empathic and complex cases on one side, more skills required for quality analysis and evaluation as well. So there's a lot of work that happens now, maybe one step aside from the customer, but really on implementing a quality control on whatever is shared by the AI and by your, automated tools as well. That's changing a little bit as well. Of course, there's a little more attention to the employee satisfaction as well. Because you remember, back in the day when AI started, people were going, and all work is going to go away and AI is going to start firing everybody right and left. What we see now, that's not really the case, but the AI is changing the way you work with people. So, of course, you have higher skilled people, but the complex situation have a more, stronger emotional toll. So you need to look after your people as well. They are really high skill employee right now, so they're in high demand as well. You need to make them happy. You need to keep them happy. They need to be motivated and feel they belong and they feel they contribute. So that's a bit of a circle. It's a bit of a loop that goes around from relation with customer to accepting the AI, but training also the AI at the same time, feeding back whatever you learn to the AI so that the next customer solution comes even faster, and then making sure that we are all happy while we are doing that. So we look very, very well looked after.
I love that. What we're seeing, right? Because you nailed it when you said like it's changing how you're hiring. And the reason it's changing how you're hiring is because work is fundamentally being designed. Like I say this all the time. AI does not eliminate work. AI redistributes work,
Yeah.
right? If I needed a ticket for the railroad yesterday, I'm going to need a ticket today, right?
Yeah.
If I need to check when the train time goes, starts and departs, I'm yesterday, if I needed that information yesterday, I'm going to need it today. AI does not eliminate that work. AI just redistributes who's doing it. So now instead of having to call in and a human give me the answer, maybe AI can give me the answer. So AI is not eliminated. AI redistributes work. AI does not eliminate work. It redistributes work. And then so what that means is, to your point, if AI is redistributing where work goes, then the work that goes to the human, like you said, is now more complex, or it requires deeper thinking, requires more empathy, it requires different skill sets. I have to hire a different profile,
Yeah.
right? And so that is making our workplace change, the dynamics of our workplace change. And then how AI is then working with humans, right? Like how AI is then passing, because you may start off, your customer may start off with AI, but then need to be passed to a human. Right. And so, how is AI passing interactions over to the human? So, three big trends that we're seeing right now when it comes to AI engaging, or AI changing the work in the workplace, is work is being redesigned, so redistributed. So the profile of the person you're hiring looks different. The work that is then now flowing out from the AI, or not being contained by the AI, is looking different. So it's creating different work types, right? So that work redesign, that's one bucket. The second bucket is what we're calling the capacity illusion, where just because you reduce, let's call it 30 interactions, you reduce your volume by 30 interactions, doesn't mean you're going to reduce your head count by the same equivalent,
Yeah.
because head count is not determined by interaction count. Head count is determined by workload. One of the big illusions that is happening right now in this space is that, oh, we're going to reduce our head count by 30% because we reduced our interactions by 30%. And that's not always the case, right? You may reduce your interactions by 30%, but only reduce your head count by 15%, because the new work that the AI is creating is still flowing to humans, but it's at a higher value, right? Like now they're able maybe to do upsells, or those interactions are
Absolutely.
taking longer because you're now able to use those humans for other things, right? More complex tasks. So that's the second big trend we're seeing right now in this space when it comes to this like AI plus human workforce, is that capacity illusion. And then the last one is one that you alluded to around, that feedback loop, right? Visibility and governance around, we today look at our human interactions and do quality around that. But who's doing quality around AI, right? Like, oh, did it handle the interaction correctly? Did it contain it correctly? Did it give it all the information? And so we're seeing that visibility gap start to kind of bubble to the top, and leaders start to say, oh, I need to be paying attention to this as well. So not only do I need to do quality and governance on my human interactions, I need to do also quality and governance on my AI interaction, or AI handle interactions as well. So I absolutely love that POV that you have there, as far as like how work in the workplace is being evolved. My last question for you, because
Yeah.
I'll talk to you all day. I'll talk to you all day. Okay. My last question for you is, what's one piece of advice that you would give another leader that's thinking about this hybrid, like this AI and human workplace? What would be that one piece of advice?
Start small and know what you
Mm.
want to achieve. That seems simple. It's not. We had to learn through errors as well from our end too. Originally we want to, we were as well on the AI bandwagon, as in AI is going to magically solve all our problems. But then, of course, the reality of it, as you start building, it is a bit different. So there are certain things that AI can do, certain things that the AI cannot do. Each business is different. Each business has different needs. Certain things make sense to be automated. Certain things make no sense to be automated, because you're still going to end up with the same amount of time, required, and the same amount of involvement from a human point of view, or even more from an AI point of view. So really is map out seems stupid, but map out is actually what you want the AI to achieve. What is your focus as well? If your focus is just be there for the customer so that they have like a way to blow off steam till your human becomes available. If you want your AI to actually be able to do things for them. If you want your AI just to be supporting your back office staff so that they have the information which might be too sensitive to publish directly available or quick. And so really map out in your heads what you need and what would really help you improve the way you interact with your customer. And then build it with the direct input from the people that are doing the job today, because they know what's required, they know what the customer needs, they know what the issues they're having. I was following a couple of AI training courses over the past few months, and there were a couple of very interesting ideas, and some of them they become really analog ideas, as in you are the API, you talk with your AI just to test if something works, and you are the API connected to the AI. So you just build it step by step and see, you provide this document, you provide this information, you provide the next step. Then does it really make it simpler? Yes or no? If you can prove it analogically that it can make it simpler, that's something that you build on AI. If you then, after you've done all the process, this exercise, then it comes up that no, there's still information you're missing, the outcome is not the one you want, then that one's not worth pursuing with AI. But that's kind of knowledge only comes when you talk with the people that do the job right now.
Yes, 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 and more yes. Okay. I cannot, I don't even need to summarize that. I don't even need to summarize that, right? One, start off with what you need, right? Start with what you are looking for. But I think the biggest tip, right, that you just gave and the most valuable advice that you just gave would start with the people who are doing, like, make sure that they're included because there's so much information that they have on those front lines. Like, you may have a good idea, like, oh, yeah, we need to do this from an executive level, like, oh, yeah, because you're thinking strategy, you're thinking big picture, you're thinking all those things. But until you include those people who are doing the job, they're going to tell you the real. Like, they're going to tell you all the nitty gritty things that you didn't even know. Oh, I didn't know this intricate, or I didn't know that this did this. And so I got to think about this, right? So, and I think that's where so many AI implementations get stalled, right? Is because they're not taking into consideration, they're not pulling the people who are doing the day-to-day job into the mix, into the fold. So Chef's kiss. That was amazing. That was amazing, Valentina. Thank you so, so much again for being a guest on the show for season 6. Again, I hope that the audience got a nugget from here because you dropped so many gems. Is there anything you want to leave the audience with, where they can find you if they want to reach out to you on LinkedIn or different platforms where you are?
Yes, I'm mostly on LinkedIn, so always available, always happy to accept new requests and new contacts, because always trying to expand my network, and I really love discussing CX issues and workforce management issues and AI dilemma complexity with people, just because there's so much to learn, so much to discuss still. And I'm pretty much all over Europe. Doing keynotes over the next few months. I'm participating on the CX network discussions on the CX travel and hospitality, CX Live, CX Summit Pronovia. So I'm everywhere in Europe. Just look me up, and I'll be looking forward to discussing further with anybody who's got an interest in AI and CX in the future.
Absolutely. Well, thank you so much. All right, guys. Well, you heard it here first on Tipsy Thursdays, season 6, where Valentina discussed so many different things, some of the challenges that she's still, as chief operating officer, some of the things that she's always thinking through, like how we balance, real life and some of the things that's happening with AI and staying relevant and changing perspectives and changing narratives and all those and the tools that are relevant right now. So I think that was important. But my favorite tip was bringing the people in, right? When you have set your mind on, okay, this is what I want, the goal of what AI is going to be, with the level it's going to engage, whether it's internal or whether it's externally facing, whether it's with customer, whether it's with your employee, all that's fine. Whatever you decide, just make a decision. But then bring the people in that are closest to the business. That was amazing, okay? Because there's so many things that gets lost that at an executive level, you just may not know that's happening. So I was super happy to hear Valentina say that. Until next time, you guys already know what to do. Go be great and let's make impact. If you would love to be a guest on Tipsy Thursdays, send me a DM. Until next time, go be great and let's make impact. See you guys soon. Bye.